Alright guys, welcome back again to another exciting one. So today we want to continue from where we stopped by taking a deep dive into series. We've talked about it in the last tutorial, but we want to expatiate on it right now so that we'll be able to understand how to really understand how series really works. So it's not going to be something really hard, but let's use the data that we've been using before. Let's say, for instance, I just want to type Titanic, and I want to use probably info. All right, hold on a sec. Let me just move the mic very close to myself so that's going to be very easy. So when I say Titanic info, so by the time I do this, the word Titanic underscore df is a data frame, which obviously we all know that because we've actually call it from the top. So if I say titanic.info and I look, you can see it as how many columns have we got in there. At least we've got 13 columns, and from the entire 13 columns we have details of 1309. So when you look at these particular informations, let's say for instance, and I want to see what titanic.info, the type of data it becomes by the time we add .info to it. Let me just say type. And I just paste it in there. Sometimes you just have to experiment. So the moment you launch this, it gives you like it's still a core data frame. Yeah, but imagine if you just want to use it alongside with some functions like minimum, maximum, and some other things like that. What is it going to give us? So I'm saying titanic.df again, and I'll say minimum. Yeah, the moment I do that, I should experience an error. I'm not even experiencing an error. And let me say maximum. So now look at this. It's telling us that the minimum is P1, survived is 0. This really looks good. Then let's take a look at the type of data I'm going to see if I should make this minimum value. If I should have the minimum. There's something I really want you to understand there. So the moment I copy this and I paste it inside the type functions, I want to know what type of data it is. It is now telling me that it has been converted to series. So if you're using some functions alongside with data frame, it's automatically converted to series, because basically what it's doing in here is that it's talking more about the column. You can see if you look at this P class is a column. If you look at this survive is a column. So anytime you are paying attention to column but not the entire data, it really means that it's really trying going to convert it to series. Yeah, so that's it. So let's take for instance now you don't want to find the maximum again. So because we find the minimum value that you can find inside the minimum that you can find inside the column. So let's take for instance we want to look at the maximum now again. We're going to learn a lot here. You can see terms that the maximum is 3 and we have survive is 3, and all of these things really make a whole lot of sense. Yeah. So that's it. So now after we've successfully understand how this thing really works, if you check the type, is still going to be series because it's really talking more about the column. All these things, name, sex, age, SIBSP, patch, ticket, fare, all these things are in columns, because if you want to know, like let's fetch like 5 data out of it. If you want to know what I'm talking about, I want to say that ed. I want to say, are we saying something real or not? Yeah, you can see that all these things are column. So now that means it's talking about values inside the column. Yes, that's why it's being converted to series. All right. So the reason why info is not really being converted to series is because it's talking about the entire information. It's not talking about the column alone. You can see we have the data, we have columns, we have so many other things. That is why you can see that this titanic.df.info is not being converted into what series by the time we check the type. But this minimum is really talking about the info. Maximum is really talking about the column. Minimum is really talking about the column. So now, anytime you use some functions alongside with data frame, and that function converts details, information about that entire data tables into column details, that means it's series. All right. So, all right. So that's it. So another thing I would like to, explain to you here is because we need to see that despite the fact that we are using this minimum alongside with maximum, alongside with data frame, we can still use it alongside with series as well. Let me give you an instance. Before I proceed, there's something I want to show you. If I want to find the median of these, let's see, it gives me a lot of error because median doesn't really deals with things that are not numeric, because not only numeric figure where name is not numbers and ticket is not numbers and home destination is not in numbers, they're in words. So you need to convert this into something numeric. So inside this median, you just have to say numeric underscore only. So if I want to say numeric only, that means I need to set it to true. So numeric, not numerical, because if I say numerical, it's going to give me an error. So you might be wondering, how do I really master this in my head? So this is what I would advise you to do. Anytime I tell you something, just put it down in your notes and look at it and meditate about it so that it gets registered in your head, and practice it all and all over again. So after you've done that, you can now go back to the documentation and read more about it to avoid information overload. So let's take it out. Okay. I'm still having errors. Let's take it out. What exactly is going on? Numeric only. I don't know. Let's just run it. Yeah, you can see I've purposely forgotten what I've found. So I really know all the details that has to do with numbers. Yeah, so that's it. So anytime you're having issues like that, just know that the details is not only numbers. That is the reason why you're experiencing errors. So that's it. So imagine if I decide now to pick, like what I explained before, imagine if I decide now to pick Titanic alone, and I know that I have something like names. Yes, let's say I just want to have names. I just say names. I don't know. I just say names. Do I have name? And after the name, I just say dot sum. So which means I want to know how many names have we got. So if you look at this is the data frame, and it has converted to frame because I really want to know more about the column. So after that, I can now say, can you find me the sum of all of this? Let's check it out. If you see error, that means that there's something you can see. It gives us all the names. So, okay, imagine if I say numeric only. I just want to see what is going to happen. Numeric only is set to what? True. True. Just want to see what is going to happen. Numeric only true. It's still giving us something that it is not a number because name is not a number. But let's find P class. Yep. P class. And let's just don't need, because P class is always in numbers, and let's see what's going to happen. You can see it gives us it actually gives us something in details like this is the number. All right, so that's it. So you can literally convert a series and use it together with a method. So that's exactly what I want you to understand. So what have we achieved here today? We've understand that there are some methods together. If you use it with data frame, it converts them to what columns, in as much as talking more about the column. Another thing is that if you want to convert details inside something to want to just read the numbers only of a table, you know how to do that. Another thing is that you can also use some methods together that you have been using inside data frame, and you can also use it in series. All right, so this is where I'm actually going to stop for now. Hope you really find this very informative. I really want to practice this and meditate and understand it very much better. That's when you get the best out of this course. So in the next tutorial, we are going to talk about the important series methods that you really need to focus on. All right, until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.